Hey everybody, my name is Ramona Cruz Peters and I am here with my channel Fab Every Day, and I'm joined today by a good friend and my assistant, Crystal Meyer. So this is our very first time going live on YouTube. Some of you may have followed us over from Pinterest. We used to do Pinterest TV episodes where we'd go live every week or every couple weeks. And they're no longer doing that over on Pinterest. So hoping a lot of the people that followed me there are now here on YouTube to see us do the same thing over here. But again, my name is Ramona Cruz Peters. If you're unfamiliar with me, I am the founder and editor-in-chief of fabeveryday.com, which is a blog lifestyle website that focuses on easy recipes, parties and entertaining, holiday inspiration, home decor, travel, and more. And on this channel, I do share a lot of food. So on my YouTube lives, I do expect to be doing a lot of easy holiday recipes, easy seasonal food ideas. Today, we are focusing on Valentine's Day. Although there's a lot of other holidays coming up. We've got the big game on Sunday. We've got Mardi Gras on Tuesday. Valentine's is Wednesday, but that's what we are focusing on today. So what we're doing today is we are doing easy cupcake decorating ideas. All of these ideas can be made by beginners. None of these require any special cake decorating or cookie decorating skills. I love an easy idea and I love shortcuts. So today I'm gonna be showing you a couple of shortcuts to make these cupcake decorating ideas. So we do have a chat going. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Also, if you have any questions about the products we're using or anything you might have missed if you joined the live a little bit late, I've got all of the instructions for all of the ideas we're sharing today on fabeveryday.com. And if you look in the caption or the description of this video, you'll be able to get a link to that blog post with all of the instructions. I also have a set of links in the caption for the products that we're using today. And just so you know, those are affiliate links, which means that if you click on any of them and make a purchase, I may receive a commission. That doesn't cost you anything, but I do have to let you know that I am making commission off of those product links in the caption. Also want to thank a partner of mine, Wilton Cake Decorating. You guys might have seen their products in stores. They are a longtime partner of mine, and they did, this is not a sponsored video for them, but they did send me a lot of the products that I'm using today so that I could use them for seasonal baking like these Valentine's Day cupcakes. So like I said, we've got 3 different ideas that we're going to be sharing today. Crystal is going to help me keep an eye on the chat if there's anybody that has a question or if anybody wants a shout out. So we'll try to keep an eye on that periodically, but otherwise let's go ahead and jump on in. So the first thing we're doing are, I'm calling them XO cupcakes. So candy melts, one of my very, very favorite things to use whenever I want to add some color to a holiday theme or a birthday party theme or really any occasion. Wilton candy melts are my favorite. I have already melted some pink and some red candy melts, and right now I'm going to add them to an icing bag. I just wanted to make sure that was okay. Thanks, Crystal. So sorry about the camera angle. This is, like I said, my very first YouTube live, and I haven't set it up to do multiple camera angles yet, but usually I do like to have an overhead one so you can see what we're doing, but I'll try my best to show you what we're doing in front of us here. So first I'm gonna go ahead and take one of these plastic icing bags. You could use a reusable one as well, but I'm using a disposable one today. So I'm just putting it inside a cup because it's a lot easier to pour your melted candy coating into these bags while it's in a cup like that. So what we're going to do is we're putting red candy melts in one, and then in the other one we're going to do pink, and we're going to pipe on some X's and O's using this melted candy right here on a piece of wax paper. You can also use parchment paper. You could melt more than that if you were making a ton of these cupcakes, but right now I just kind of wanted to show you guys an example. So we're just doing a little, thanks, Crystal. So we've got a little hand washing basin down here. So if you see me bending down, it's so that I don't get red candy melts all over everything. So we'll continue with the pink candy melts. So again, you can find all of these ideas. If you miss any of these steps, you can find them all on fabeveryday.com, and I've got a link in the caption of the video so that you can do that. So for now, let's just get that out of the way. I'm just gonna snip off the tip. And with these X's and O's, I do want to make them a little bit bigger so that I want to put an X and an O not an X and an O on each cupcake, but actually an X or an O on each cupcake. So I'm going to make them kind of large. And so always start when you're snipping off the edge, always start smaller than you think, because it's always bigger than you think when you start piping. Let's see, there we go. So I'm just going to do some X's and O's. And then what we're going to do is we'll put this in the refrigerator and let it chill. They'll actually chill at room temperature as well, but it'll chill a lot faster and harden up in the refrigerator or even in the freezer. So these aren't the prettiest, but again, this is meant for beginners. And you're welcome, of course. Let's do some red ones as well. Do you want to do one? You want to do two? So these are all meant for beginners. This is just to show you how easy it is to make an edible cupcake topper out of candy melts. I've actually done this for birthdays as well. So you can do, yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, the scissors are struggling.
They are struggling. I think it might be me.
Let me try. I think these are my kitchen shears, and I think they are going a little bit dull. They're going a little dull. Okay, there you go. So it wasn't just. So I've done these for birthdays before, where you can actually do the initial of the birthday person. You can also, we should have probably snipped it a little more on that one, where you could do the initial of the birthday person. You can also do the age of the birthday person. So you can do ones for your cupcake toppers for a first birthday. And it's just a really fun idea. And candy melts are so versatile. So this is probably one of the simplest cupcake topper ideas that you can honestly do. And again, it doesn't take any special skills aside from a somewhat steady hand to try to pipe the shape of the X's and O's. But even if they're a little bit messy, it's the thought that counts, right? Especially for Valentine's Day, it's the thought that counts.
And practice makes perfect.
Exactly. So this will be, these will be our X's and O's cupcake, our XOXO Gossip Girl cupcakes. We'll do a couple more just for fun. Use up these candy melts. That one is less pretty than the other one altogether.
I think it just takes a while and then you get the hang of it.
You get a feel for it, yeah.
These aren't as bad as the first ones.
Yeah, I feel like my O's have gotten better, but my X's like struggled a little bit.
Bigger and wider.
So just so you guys can see, we'll go ahead and I won't tilt this too much until it's hardened, but so that you guys can see. The pinks are hard to see. It's kind of blown out with the ring light. I'm going to pop these in the fridge.
They are a lot of fun to do, though.
Mind me just rearranging my fridge while I got you guys. Let's go ahead and get these in the trash. Thank you very much. All right, so the next thing we're going to do while those are chilling, we are going to make conversation heart cupcakes. These are probably my favorites of these easy cupcake ideas that we're sharing today. They're just super cute. They also use candy melts and a silicone baking mold. So you can use any silicone baking mold that's heart-shaped that you can find in stores. This is one that Wilton sent me last year, I think. I've done cookies in this. I've done other stuff in this too. You can do brownie bites. But for now, we're going to put candy melt wafers directly in this. So rather than melt it first, like I just did when we piped the X and O cupcakes, I'm going to actually melt the candy melts within the mold because you can pop this directly in the microwave. And then once they harden, you pull out these adorable little heart-shaped cupcake toppers that we're going to write on like the conversation heart candies. Those little sweetheart candies that you see at Valentine's Day time. That's what the inspiration is for these. So what you do is you take 4 candy melts and place them in each of these cavities. And we're going to do 6 different colors, and these colors are inspired by the actual conversation heart candy colors. So I'm going to do a couple purple or lavender. That's actually, these ones come out lavender. They're purple, but there's a darker purple option. I'll do a few white. And then Crystal's going to help me out with this one with these candy melts because we're going to check it every 15 seconds. But we'll do a few light pink. And we're using light pink because that's the color of the candy, the conversation heart candies. But also, we want to be able to write on it. And you want to be able to see that writing. So if you did a really dark pink, it might be difficult to see. We'll do a few light yellow. And then these wafers were a little smaller. I think it was an older pack. But they're this really pretty like teal color, like a very pale blue. So I'm going to do a little more than 4 of those because they're smaller and I'm not sure the exact ratio. But these things can be thicker if you want. It's totally fine. They're edible either way, and they'll look great on top of the cupcakes either way. But for after my practice, I felt like has been a pretty good number here. Now I'm going to do some orange as well, and I actually had trouble with the orange candy melts in shipment. They actually melted on the porch, and so when candy melts and then reharden and remelt, they don't tend to do that well. They don't tend to do that well, but I'm going to make it work for the purpose of our show today. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this and put it in the microwave. Now, when you're melting candy melts, usually you want to melt them in 15 to 30-second increments. Because these are small, we're going to do them in 15. I might start it at 30 seconds and then continue at 15-second increments until it's completely melted. What we're going to do, since you might not see it at the microwave, is we're going to check on them in between those intervals. Just kind of shake the silicone tray out slightly just to help even out the melted candy. And then as soon as they've all melted, we'll bring it back here, we'll show you, and then we'll get it in the fridge to harden up, just like the X's and O's. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this.
Oh, there's a question. You need to grease the silicone.
You do not. So candy coating, the candy melts actually have a little bit of oil in their ingredients. So they actually, and I'm not sure the percentage, I've just always trusted the process, but it makes them actually really easy with non-stick type of materials like the silicone bacon. So they're easy to pull out of there, as you'll see when we're done. Super easy to get out. You can just really just push the cups and they'll pop out. Yeah. So yeah, I love the candy melts. They're, like I said, they're so versatile. If they're on something that's nonstick, like wax paper or parchment paper or a silicone mold, they'll pop right out. Very, very convenient. And the Wilton brand is my favorite. They've got a ton of different colors. They also have chocolate version. So these light colored ones, they're actually not chocolate. It's candy coating that is colored and sometimes a little bit flavored, but they do have chocolate wafers that are made with real chocolate as well. So you could do your chocolate dipped strawberries or anything like that with the Wilton ones. I'm just a big fan of theirs if you can't tell. And speaking of that, if you guys are planning anything for the big game, I love using the chocolate wafers to make chocolate dipped strawberries. And then I use a little bit of white cake decorating icing to pipe laces, like football laces on the strawberry. And then you have strawberry footballs. It's adorable. And anything basically that you can make chocolate, you can make into a little football with piping some white icing onto it. So, I don't know if you guys are watching the big game this weekend, but if you are, feel free to drop in the chat who you're rooting for. Or, I don't know if you're a Chiefs fan, if you're a Niners fan, or if you're a Team Snacks fan, or a Taylor's Boyfriend's fan, whatever. Whatever, but let us know who you might be rooting for. No matter what, it's always fun to do the snacks, right? The snacks and the commercials, you cannot lose. So thanks, Crystal, for keeping an eye on that. And it's going to take several intervals. Like I said, candy melts don't do so well when they start hardening back up and then need to be remelted, which is exactly why we're checking every 15 seconds, because I'd rather do that over and over than risk it going the opposite direction. And then you have congealed pieces of candy like these poor orange ones here.
Yeah, they're not doing so well.
The orange one? Oh no, and actually that's funny, guys. Like I'll go ahead and show you a little preview from earlier. I just jammed the orange ones down in there once it started melting, and it's not very pretty, but it, at least on the back side it's not very pretty, but the front side it does work out. And what we're gonna do when those are done and hardened, Wilton, and I've got this product linked for you, they make these, I promise it's not a sponsored video, I'm just a huge fan of Wilton products. So we have these handy writing pens that work really, really well on handy melt coating. So they also sell fondant writing pens, but fondant pens tend not to work very well on handy melts. So if you are doing something like these hearts that you want to write on, or if you're doing cake pops that you want to decorate by hand, you want to look for these ones. And I've got it linked in the caption as well as in the blog post that I've got here. So, we've got folks commenting. So my mother is on. Thank you. My mom is always, my mom and dad are some of my biggest fans. So thank you for always watching my lives. They're rooting for both teams. And honestly, I feel kind of the same way. I'm from Southern California. So I have a lot of friends that are Niners fans if they're from Northern California. But I was never a huge Niners fan. No problems with them, but just never a huge fan. Same with the Chiefs. I don't have a problem with them at all. Patrick Mahomes seems like a nice guy. I do love the whole Taylor Swift thing. I'll be honest. I'm not a Swiftie. I just love their relationship. I think it's happy to me to watch people be happy, and they seem really happy.
Yeah.
So I am just kind of happy either way. That's kind of the same vibe for me too. I just want to see a good game and see what happens with if Taylor can make it all the way from her tour stop in Tokyo. Again, I'm not a Swiftie. I just know all this now because it feels like that's what everyone's talking about. And then Sue is cheering for the Chiefs. I do love, so I've never seen the Chiefs play live, but I have. I'm a big baseball fan. Oh, thanks, Crystal. Perfect. I'm a big baseball fan, and I've seen Arrowhead Stadium right next to Kauffman Stadium when I went and saw the Royals play. So I do, and I had a great experience in Kansas City. I don't know if you've ever been.
I've never been.
I really liked Kansas City. I got a good vibe there. I really loved the Royals game. Like, it was honestly one of my favorite stadiums that I've seen. And we've seen a lot. We are ballpark chasers, so we've gone to a lot of MLB stadiums. And Kauffman is one of my favorite. It's up there. It's in the top 5, I would say. So yeah, I always had a good feeling about them. And so because it's right next to where the Chiefs play there at Arrowhead, I have a soft spot for them too. So as you can see, all we're doing here is we're just shaking it out just to make sure they're even. And if you guys saw the orange, I don't know if you can tell, it is a mess in there. So I'm actually gonna manually squish that down. Oh, it's hot. Oh, that's too hot. So now that this is melted, we're going to go ahead and put this in the fridge as well. And I'm going to check on my X's and O's. So, Crystal, I don't know if you want to talk about who you're rooting for. I'm doing this.
I am not actually a football fan, but I'm from the Bay Area, California, so I'm obviously rooting for the Niners to win. But I think it's just going to be a fun game with the Chiefs going against the Niners and the whole Taylor Swift thing as well. I'm also not a Swiftie, but love watching it. I love watching this story.
Oh, it's like watching a real life romantic comedy play out. They seem really happy. I mean, obviously, who knows what's going on, but they really do seem happy. And so, how can you not be happy for people that seem to be in love?
It's like a feel good story.
So right, like it just feels good. And so being from the Bay Area, I feel like you got a little bit of that Niners thing. Plus, I noticed that like remember how Taylor wore why do I know all this? I'm not a fan. She wore like this custom jacket that was made for her designed for her by the wife of one of the 49ers, I believe. And the jacket and her design label started really blowing up after Taylor wore that to the game. And I think she's made them for Brittany Mahomes as well. And so that her husband is on the 49ers. And so now I feel like it's stuff. Like, I don't know, it's fun. But it was a really cute story too, because if you didn't hear about that, her husband, I think his name is Juice-Check. I think that's how it's pronounced. I'm not sure, but anyway, he was going around social media, like tagging his wife, giving her credit every time somebody big was sharing the custom jacket. Awesome. He was like throwing out his wife and like trying to get her the credit where credit was due for designing this cool jacket. Yeah. So yes, again, it's like all this stuff just makes me feel good. Yeah. So we have our X's and O's now out of the fridge, and you can just lift them right off the wax paper, no problem. So what we're gonna do is I'm trying to find ones that look kind of similar in size.
None of mine.
No,
none of the one I did are similar. For these two are.
Yeah, I'm like doing this upside down so that you guys can see it in a second. This one looks similar in size. Yeah.
The last two I did were the best ones, so I just need little packets.
Yeah, exactly. And with candy melts, I mean, they're so cheap and easy to work with. You can make a ton and then pick your best ones for your party. There we go. So you can just place them right on top of your cupcakes, and you've got an easy, edible Valentine's Day themed cupcake topper. So that's our first one that turned out really well. Let's go ahead and get these aside. Usually when I'm on Pinterest, when I do these on Pinterest, my live space, the camera angle is so small that I can shove everything to the side and you don't see the outside stuff, but today you do. So, and we're waiting for our conversation heart cupcakes to the toppers to chill. And now I'm gonna actually show you guys the third and final idea, and that is heart-shaped cupcakes. Some of you might have seen this on TikTok or on Pinterest. But in case you didn't know, you can actually make your cupcakes shaped in a lot of different holiday themes just by using a little bit of foil wrapped up and placed around them to kind of mold them into a shape. So I've done this for shamrock. So if you guys look at fabeveryday.com, you'll see shamrock cupcakes.
I remember this.
They're really fun. And you could do shamrocks. You can do like a triangle to make them into a Christmas tree. And today we're showing you how to make heart-shaped cupcakes. So what we're going to do, the key is you've got to use paper liners. So we're just going to line this cupcake. Do you want to do a couple?
Yeah.
So that folks don't have to sit there watching me do this for so long. So we're using paper cupcake liners, and I have these adorable love ones for the Valentine's theme. And then what we're going to do is before we start shaping them, we're going to add the batter to the cupcake cups. And something really important to note with these, you cannot fill them more than halfway full because we're going to actually start pushing them inwards using foil to hold them in place. And that is going to then make the batter rise. And if you put too much batter, then it will actually go over the cupcake liners and it won't look like a heart in the end. So I'm actually using a cookie scoop for these because I really want to regulate the amount that I put in. And so this is just a standard size cooking scoop. I think it's like a heaping tablespoon. But I want to say you want to do no more than 2 tablespoons in these, in a standard cupcake liner if you're doing the heart shape, just from experience, from the trial and error of doing this. So I'm just doing like I said, it's like about a heaping tablespoon, no more than 2. And so the good thing about that then is you can get more cupcakes than the recipe calls for because you're using less. And so this is great for a class party or a potluck. And even if the heart shape doesn't turn out perfect, you're going to frost it afterwards. And that really kind of makes up for any of the error in design while we're shaping them into hearts, as you guys will see.
Yeah, frosting can really cover imperfections in a lot of different baked goods.
It really, really can. Same with cookies, same with cakes. I struggle with cakes personally. I tend to do a lot of cupcakes. So if you guys have followed me for a while or have seen, I do a lot of themed cupcakes for holidays, just like this episode today for Valentine's. And cupcakes are just my go-to. I feel like they're just easier for me than baking and decorating cakes. I am a cookbook author. I do have a lot of cooking experience, but for whatever reason, like cakes, they've stressed me out. And so I learned years ago when making them for my kids' parties, you know what, if it's going to stress me out so much, it's not worth the stress. So then I stick with the things that are not going to stress me out, but still have a high impact. So that's why I gravitate towards cupcakes.
A lot more room for error. You can mess up a cupcake or 2 and be fine. If you mess up one cake, you're out of the cake.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's almost nothing you can do at that point except for decorate it more. And then sometimes that doesn't. So like I said, I've done like a heaping, like that heaping cookie scoop. And I'll show you guys how to do this in a second, but we've got a combination of these little foil cylinders as well as little foil folded pieces. And I want to just show you how I made those, just so that you can see. So I'm going to slide this upwards for a second. And I'm literally just ripping strips here. Oops. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're going to crumple them up. But so for the folded pieces, just take a strip, just fold it a few times. And essentially all it needs to be is just needs to be a little bit rigid. It needs to be firm so that it will hold into place while things are baking. But that's a thin little strip here. And then for the cylinder, I kind of follow a similar method where I start by folding it, but then I roll it into a little cylinder, crunch it down so it's nice and solid. And that's what I've got. So I'm doing another one. So every cupcake that you make, and if you're doing multiple batches, it's okay because you can reuse these between the batches. So I'm just making for each of these 2 little folded segments and a cylinder segment. And I've got a whole bunch of them ready to go here. So hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I'll lift this up in a second. So you're going to start by pulling down the top. That's what that looks like here. Yes, where is it? Over here. It's funny, it's like mirrored, and so I'm like looking at the wrong spot. So you just push a little corner, the top middle in, and then you use the cylinder to hold that into place. Then what you do is you take the two flat pieces around the bottom to just kind of outline a point. And this will bake up around these, so it'll come out a lot better than you might think is happening here. And again, you have the room for error with your frosting. So do you want to maybe go ahead and start helping me with these segments? And again, it doesn't have to be perfect because the frosting is where you really kind of sell the heart shape. Yes, these really are easy, and you can use boxed cupcake mix if that's easier for you, or you can use your favorite cupcake recipe. No judgment. I know some people absolutely love the baking process. They have great recipes, but some people really want to focus on the decoration and the theme, and so they decide to balance it out by using a boxed mix. And one of the things we would always say on our Pinterest TV episodes is it was kind of a silly little saying that one of my kids made up. It's "there ain't no shame in the shortcut game," and that's what Fab Every Day. Oh, my short one. I got to do a couple more, just another cylinder. So Fab Every Day is all about you how to have the nice things, how to have fabulous things, the easy way, in a way that fits in with everyday life. So that means shortcuts sometimes, because we can't do it all, right? Like people will sometimes ask, "Oh, how do you do it all?" I don't do it all. There's no way. You have to find balance. You have to find shortcuts, or you have to just let certain things go and be okay with store-bought cupcakes that you then decorate yourself or add one of these toppers to. Balance. So I think I'll probably need a couple more of these. So Crystal, if you want, we can start putting these guys around the side or the bottoms as well while I'm folding these. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I know we don't have a ton of live viewers right now. Really wasn't sure what to expect. I've never done a YouTube live, but this video will be saved to my channel afterwards. So for anybody that either joined late or wants to catch it again on the replay, it'll be saved to my channel, and I'll be having it in a playlist called Fab Everyday Live Streams, so that you guys can find these again. And I'll try to get a schedule for these too. Like with Pinterest, we used to do them every Friday night or every other Friday for a period of time, and we would announce them in advance. And it's usually going to be something seasonal because I love holiday themes. I do. And so don't worry, we're going to bake these. However, we will show you, you don't have to sit around during that. We will wrap this up here pretty soon because we will show you the final version that was baked earlier today. All right, I think we almost got it. One more.
These are pretty fun, and they actually seem like they would be fun, to have your kids help with them too.
Oh yeah, exactly. You could actually have the kids help do the foil pieces, actually fold the foil pieces. So I'll show you guys just briefly what this looks like before it goes into the oven. And they're vaguely shaped like a heart. And again, don't worry, you've got room for error there. But let me go ahead and get this in. Set that timer, and we will actually get to the finished version of that right now. So this is what it looks like after you remove them from the pan. You do want to let them cool on a wire rack for a bit, just like you would with your regular cupcake recipe. You always want to check this one a few minutes beforehand, though. Remember, it's smaller. We're only using a little, like about half of the amount of batter that we normally would. So you want to check it sooner, but they come out heart-shaped like that. And then
so typically it's the cooking time, what it says on the box?
I go a couple minutes lower than that. And if it's a toothpick test, for example, as this one is, that's how you'll know. So you'll just want to check a few minutes early, but still go by the toothpick test or whichever. All right, I'm just checking on our conversation heart cupcakes. They are still chilling in there. So we're going to let them do their thing. And right now we're going to go ahead and frost these. So again, because shortcuts, and we're trying to keep this simple for you, we'll show you how you can decorate these just with these pre-made icing bags. From Wilton, we'll do strawberry and pink strawberry flavor, and then the red flavor. And I'm just using the built-in star tip that comes with these bags. And you want to follow the shape of the heart again, because that's what's really going to sell the shape here. So I'm just showing Crystal, and then I'll show you guys.
So do you recommend doing half first the way you just did, or is it really just preference?
You could do whichever makes you, whatever's easiest for you. I am definitely not a professional cupcake decorator. I just like to find these easy ideas for you guys. So you just follow the pattern of the heart. Oh yeah, so Sue, you get me. Like I'm actually more of a I do love cupcake decorating, and I do love that for parties and for holiday themes, but I am much more of a savory cook. That's my preference. I cook every single day for my family, and let's go ahead and do every other one here. So I feel you. Oh, that actually worked out kind of well. I'm kind of going back and forth. So if you want to do the red one.
Okay.
That worked out, yeah. That worked out well. When we did these for the blog, I used actual icing bags with icing tips, but I thought let's go the shortcut way for you guys with this. All right, so here's how they're coming together so far. And again, look, oopsie. The icing really helps you sell the shape of the heart, even if it was like slightly, oblong with the heart shape. But they're just super fun. These are great for school parties and potlucks. So let's go ahead and use some sprinkles on top just to add some festivity. So we've got these Valentine's nonpareils. And
is that how you say that?
I've actually asked that on here once before, and no one kind of knew the answer, but it's a French word, and so I try to at least vaguely say it. But if it was, I would be more like nonpareil or something like that. But like I don't want to say nonpareils or nonpareils or whatever. Like it just feels wrong, so I say nonpareil. Like
I don't even know how I ever said it before.
And then I'm doing these like mini heart sprinkles that you can find. Like this is a Wilton one, again, because they tend to send me like a seasonal box for every holiday, which I appreciate. Oh yeah, we've got nonpareils going everywhere. My dog's gonna love that. They're gonna come back when I let them out. I have to like put them behind like 2 doors because I've got 2 pugs, and they gotta be all up on your business. So
they're barkers.
They're barkers, they're snorters and snorers. They would be here snorting and snoring. It'd be really funny.
So these are actually my favorite kind of sprinkles because I like texture. I like the crunch in the.
Yeah, I like those.
However you say them.
Non-pareil. That's kind of how it's supposed to be. I actually don't know what people. If you guys like, how do you say it? Can you try to phonetically write it in the chat? I'm actually curious how other people say it, and if I don't know. You know what? I'm gonna ask my friends at Wilton. They tend to be there for me, like on social media. Like they're really responsive on Threads. Actually, if you want to like tag them on Threads, if you guys are into Threads at all, they're really responsive there. I'm gonna ask how does because there's the French way, but then how do actually people in the United States generally say it? But even
how should we be saying?
Yeah. So we're going to put these guys up here next to our X's and O's, and we're going to check with your candy melts. Conversation works. All right, perfect. So I think they could probably firm up just a tiny bit more, but they're generally hard enough to get out of here. So all I'm doing is I'm truly, that was not ready. Here we go. We're just pushing them upwards from the bottom, and then they come out just like that. So let's see if any of these other ones are ready. It looks like the pink ones are ready as well. Oh. I can't see the end of the comments. I can't see like.
Maybe that's what's there.
Yeah, there you go. Non-pa. Non-pa. All right, so I've gotten a few of these out, but then I already did a few earlier too. So what we're going to do is we are going to just start adding the waiter. got it messed up.
Non-pareil.
I
I think
mean,
that's what I
that's
always
probably
thought.
what people say, but like, I just feel like that's, yeah.
Non-pareil.
I mean, that probably is what people say. So I probably say it the non-normal way, but maybe the more accurate way. But I also say awesome. So I'm that girl. So there you are. And my kids, they love to travel as well. And so we're pretty well traveled as a family. It's just one of our favorite hobbies. And so they take pronunciation seriously as well. So we have to, even if we're at Starbucks, Sawyer, my youngest, has to say croissant. Like he can't say, he has to do like pain au chocolat. Like he can't just say croissant. Okay, so we're going to use these candy melt writing pens. And I wrote a few on here. I said, me and you, XOXO, kiss me, and te amo. But you can do pretty much anything that you want on these. And that's what's really fun about them. You could personalize it for whoever you're giving it to. You could be silly. You could be like, some of the new ones, like text me, whatever, like some of the new ones. What should I say here? Okay, guys, tell me what we should say. Anybody have a suggestion for hot stuff? Yeah. So let's see. I'll take time for one suggestion on these, and then we'll go ahead and finish up the show. So let's see if anything comes in the chat. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this whole time. I think most of you I actually know from my Fab Foodies group, or you're my family.
My mom and dad.
Yeah. So I already know you guys, but for Lurv, okay, I like it. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do it with the pink. On the pink with the red. Oops, I'm going too heavy-handed here. I was trying to center it, but it worked. I like that.
I see it.
So now we're just going to use this cupcake toppers here. But anyway, I know a lot of you guys are ready, but for those of you that may not know me as well, you can follow me on all social media sites at Fab Everyday. You can subscribe here on YouTube as well to the Fab Everyday channel, and we'll try to do more of these lives, and I'll try to get them on a regular intervals for you guys so you know when to expect them. And all of these ideas you can find on fabeveryday.com. Check the caption for the link to the blog post with all of the information and those product links. I'm also a cookbook author. I've got 2 published cookbooks, so feel free to look me up on Amazon. The name again is Ramona Cruz Peters. So we'll go ahead and get these topped here, and then we'll wrap up the show. So we just stick them right there in the frosting. Did I even do enough? I need to probably write one. So yeah, you can do it like flat on top, like we did the X's and O's, or you could do it just sticking right. Oh, good, perfect. I don't know why visually I couldn't see that there was 6. I was like, but they're super, super cute. The toppers are edible. The colors are super fun and festive when you do all of the different conversation heart colors. It's a really fun one. So that one, like I said, is I think my favorite one of all these.
It's mine.
We'll keep an eye on those cupcakes in a minute, but thank you guys so much for joining us and sticking around for the whole show. I hope to see you on here again soon. Thank you guys so much.